All right, then I'll go ahead and close this project and we'll make a new one. Hello, video on plane detected or something like that. And make sure we are scene kit, storyboard. Okay, all right, so plist, there it is. All right, so here it is, and we already have our IB outlets, and we have our view group here. We are going to use these delegates this time. Move this back here, and I'll show you why, because if you remember when we did this, and for the folks that weren't here last time, when this is functioning, these delegates are being called. We're going to add our own delegates here. Where are they? Session interrupted. So we're going to add our own delegates, because what we want to do is, as you move your device around, it's learning more about the scene, right? So it identifies a plane, but it may only see a small part of the plane, and then so the delegate needs to be gets triggered when we're finding more, when the device is finding more information about the plane that as you're moving your device around. So we're going to add those back in there, and we'll go through all of this. So I'm going to go ahead and let's delete all of this, and we're going to do some copy pasting. And actually, you know what? Let me do this too. Let me go to the storyboard, and let's add two buttons. We're going to add a button to start playing the video, and we're going to add a button to stop playing the video. So let's do right here. Let's take a look at our scene, and I'm going to add a video. I'm going to add a button to it right here, and I'm going to add another button right there, somewhere like that, somewhere near the bottom, doesn't really matter. And let's go ahead and just set up. I wish this wasn't here. This is annoying. Zoom's overlay. You can't see it on my screen, but Zoom's is adding. There you go. Go over there. It's adding stuff that I don't want to see. Okay. We're going to put in some constraints. Let's make this like 80 and 30. All right, width and height for the button, 80 and 30. And we're going to make this one 30 from the left and 80 from the bottom. Why those numbers? I have no idea. They just are there. Same thing on this one. I'm going to pin this to the bottom. 30 from the right and 80 from the bottom. No, wait, did I do that? Whatever. And then width, 80 and 30. Okay. That gives us our little buttons in here. I'm going to name this button start, and this one's going to be pause or something like stop. Okay. Cool, that's that. And then we just have to connect it now. So we go into our assistant editor. This is the easiest way to do that. And we're going to go and make some more room here. Here, you go this way. And we're going to go. And the way you do this is you go Control, drag, and then you just drop it in here. And I'm gonna just name it button pause. And this is the outlet. And I'm gonna make one for the action as well. You'll see why in a moment. And I'm gonna connect the start button. And I'm gonna call this button start. People normally do start button. I'm kind of weird. I like to, because of autocomplete, I like to reference things by what it is instead of by the name that I gave it, because sometimes I don't remember exactly what I call things. So if I start typing button, it's going to show me when Xcode autocomplete is working, it's going to show me all the things that have that start with the word button. So that makes things easier. And then also, yes, I am going to connect these, both of these, to, and the reason is because I want to have an action happen when I touch the button, which is a function itself. So I'm going to say action, and I'm going to say, and then event is touch up inside is the default. So if you're touching the button, this function gets triggered. So I'm going to say button start touch, oops, like that. And we'll do the same thing with the other one. Action, button, pause, touch. All right. So now we have those in place, and let's get out of this assistant editor and go back to, oops, just here it is. Just preview only, go back to the code. And this is all we have right now. And it's going to be time to copy and paste now. So where were we? If you want to look at what we're doing here, I have the code in the gist. This is this function right here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy everything from here all the way down to view will appear, and then we'll go into the functions that create the nodes. So oops. What am I doing? Let me make sure I got the, okay, yeah, I didn't copy the outlets. I didn't want to grab those again. Okay. We create the player in the function in the whole view controller scope, and we're doing the same thing for the video node. Remember last time we actually created the node in a function when we just did this just now. We're not going to do it this way because we're going to be modifying the node on the fly. We're going to be changing the geometry of the node all the time until you hit play. And then when you start hitting play, we don't want to be changing the node anymore. So our delegates are going to have some code in them to make sure that we're not changing, because you know how what would happen is, imagine you start playing something on your wall, and if you move the device and the device says, oh, the wall's bigger than I thought it was, what's going to happen is it's going to mess up the video, and you're going to end up with the video reloading and changing size and things like that, which you don't want once the video starts playing. I trust me, because I tried it first without doing it this way, and it makes a big mess of everything. So, okay, so we got that. We got the function view will appear, and I don't know why I did that. It looks like just some debugging. And we're going to now add the function to create the node. So this node right here is, let's go through this function. And what it does is it returns a C node that's defined width and height as you get data from the anchor. So the AR plane anchor right here, our delegate is going to call this function, and it's going to set the node XY coordinates. We're going to give it, looks like we have the ocean on here. that's a placeholder until we start playing the video, and then we change it. The other thing that's kind of unusual in here is we're flipping the image because it's, I don't know why I did that. Oh, you know why? Because initially we were projecting these on the floor. So looks like we're switching it, right? We're flipping it along the x-axis to display it on the wall. So this can be adapted to work on, you know, projecting something on the floor if you just take out this line of code right here. All right. Any questions about the create node function?
Does it use the same X and Y axis, like, so top left corner for 0, 0? Is that, I know like when you're, I don't know, doing other things and like animations and stuff, your X and Y axis, the middle of that is in the top left.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So in this case, our, and we can turn this on. If you're asking about like where the origin is that what you mean?
Like, what's that word?
I think they call it the origin. And we can,
What is it called?
yeah, so there's actually an option that we can actually enable to tell us like what the show. It's an origin debug option. So we have like when we set up the configuration, we can actually tell it, oh, show us the origin when the device starts up, which is great for debugging. Yeah, we could do that. And then you'll see, yeah, because then everything is offset from that origin, which is exactly where it's somewhere in the middle of your device. It's like when you first launch it, wherever you happen to be holding it, that's the origin initially.
Okay, cool.
So it's in the center of the screen, not in the left top corner?
So it's the center of the camera, I believe.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, because this
typically like when you're doing, like when you're drawing something, or I don't know, like I've had to use like Sprite Kit or just other things, it's typically like up in that top left for the origin. So I just followed the same.
Yeah, it is it is, but this, because it's 3D space, it's relative to I believe, and I think we can kind of prove it for ourselves by turning on the debug options to show that XYZ, because every time I launch it with the debug options, it seems like the camera is in the middle of that blue, green, and red, I believe, are the colors that they use for the different axes, the X, Y, and the Z. So we'll turn them. Yeah, let's just turn them on, and then we'll see where it is, and then we'll figure it out. That's what this workshop's all about.
Sorry, I didn't mean to create rabbit holes.
Oh no, you know what? This is the fun part about this, is because we're all learning this. I'm learning this as I go along, if you can't already tell. So we love to try new things. So yeah, don't hesitate to jump in with ideas like that. And actually, if you look at the gist here, I don't remember, like last time we did have this. Let me see if this was when we did the solar system on here. We turned on, oh, here they are. So you see this right here, scene view debug options.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna grab that, and we're gonna throw that in here to see. Basically, once you have your, everything running and you've set up the rule tracking, I can come in here and say, oh, what happened to my trackpad? It's not behaving nicely. I think my batteries are low. What we can say is right here, scene view debug options, and I don't want the feature points because they slow us down a little bit, but let's go ahead and run it with that like this. So that'll show the world origin. Let me see if it's ready to run. Oh, I need a little, I need an extension here that does the degrees to radians. So let's go back to the code, and I'll grab that. And we'll grab this little guy from the bottom here. here. So the extension goes outside of the scope of, you notice that it's outside that last bracket right here. So that's where it belongs. And I think I should be able to run it now. I'm not sure what's going to happen because I didn't copy. All we're doing is creating the node. We're not doing anything else. So it should just show us the, let's see, the players not going to do anything. All right, let's just go ahead and run it and see what happens. What's the worst that can happen?
Crash.
Exactly. All right. Okay, now where's our feature point? Okay, so there's our feature points. I'm gonna rerun it because my hand moved, but you can see the blue is the Z axis. And then your
So where those intersect is 0, 0, 0?
yes, exactly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to restart it with the device on my desk, and I'm not going to move it, which means it's going to be kind of at a weird angle because I'm going to put it like this in the corner, and let's see what happens.
Pick the origin upon app launch or scene launch, and then it just stays at that spot, or
it does, yeah, which is really cool. I can go and I've experimented with this. You launch it and when it's not tethered, because right now I'm tethered to my Mac, obviously to record this and all that and share it. But if you're not tethered and you start it, you can walk outside the room, go around your house and come back and you'll still see it. It may be shifted a little bit. It may, because of the, trying to track it uses feature points of the room to tell you where the X, Y, and Z origin is, but it will keep it in the same place. It's really cool. Pretty impressive that it'll do it across as you move around the house to other parts of the house and come back to it, and there it is, right? All right, so I'm starting it right now. I'm not moving my device, and let's see what happened. Okay, it seemed to have shifted. Okay, so it's somewhere. It's kind of weird. Where is it? No, I don't see it at all. Oh, weird. Oh,
There it is.
okay, there it is. So where was it? It's really hard to tell.
So bottom left corner.
It seems to me that you're right, I had to move it could also be that it's not, here's the other issue that may be happening, is I had to move my device backwards by about an inch, and then to be able to see it, for the camera to see it, right? So let's do it again, because I suspect it's probably
Is the origin physically on the device, so it would not be within camera range?
well,
I don't know. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm seeing it. You notice I'm just seeing the edge of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in it. It's in it now. So it looks like it's the camera.
you had it at -2 meters. Does that matter anything? Or for anything? Because now it's not off the Z-axis.
Yeah, so that was when we were placing the image. Right now we're not placing. We're just doing we're just doing the show world origin, and so that should be X, Y, Z 0. Before we were placing it, ahead of us by 2 meters.
Right.
Yeah, but that's a good question. So it looks like it is where the camera is, because this is the camera, and I'm holding my phone right where it was when I started running the program.
So the origin is actually where the camera is on the device physically?
I believe so. Yeah. Do you see that, Jamie? This is where the camera right now is in the origin, it looks like.
Okay. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, because if I back up a little bit, you can see the origin there.
Yeah.
Here it is. And if I move I had it right here on the corner of my desk, and you can see that that's exactly where I started the app. So it
That
looks
makes
like,
sense.
yeah, it looks like it's in it. Okay.
That kind of makes sense.
It uses the camera to look at features, and so it makes sense that they use that as the origin. Cool. And I guess if we do we could do feature points too, which they don't really do much for us, except AR scene view, AR scene, oh, debug options. Debug, where are they? AR, SCN, debug, options, dot show feature points. Like that. This is interesting because this shows us what the device is looking at as references. So I'm gonna hold in the same spot right here, and we should see the XYZ, and then it should show our little feature points when it's looking at identifying points of interest. Like right here, right? It's saying, okay, well, these are things I can look at, and I say, oh, this tells me where I am and when I'm moving around.
So, Chris,
Yes, Pat?
yeah. So basically, you're setting up a player. So it's very much like VR. So in VR, you set up a player, you put a camera on the player's head, and that's a first-person experience. So you're kind of setting up a first-person experience with your player, and your player is looking at an AR environment. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, that makes right. So it's the same concept as what you're saying. Your microphone's a little bit weak, but yeah, I understood the question.
Okay.
Yeah. Did everybody else get that?
So I think she was saying that it's like putting dots on a person when you're doing motion capture.
No.
No?
Can you hear me now?
That's
Yes, now we can.
Okay. Sorry. My Mac is overheating, so I keep turning the fan on.
Oh,
So that's probably what did it. Okay, so in VR, you set up a player, and then you put the camera on the player, so you're seeing what the player sees.
Ah,
So
you're saying.
it seems like you're set. So that's how you make like a first-person shooter game, or you're following a little character or something like that. What's interesting about that is that's not the same as Pokemon, which is AR. In AR, you want to see Pokemon in the world. You're not Pokemon. You're not. You know what I mean? So it's interesting what's happening here, because really it seems like you're setting up a player. Therefore, your origin would be on the player. But if that's not your intent, I mean, it's interesting because it's a little investigator or something, right? That's looking into the world and seeing the little points. But if you want to just display something out there in the world, the origin would be somewhere else.
I was kind of thinking that a few minutes ago too, just when we started looking at the origin and everything and the placement of whatever. You know, in like Pokemon, I think the origin might be different, but then we're placing things based on those points.
Yes.
Or, like coordinates or something on a map and translating that over to the placement of whatever.
Right.
So it seems like in this case, kind of like what Patricia is saying, it's just like it takes that when the scene launches or when the scene is instantiated, then it's creating that origin right there, and then everything is based off of that, just of the location of the phone or the camera at that moment.
Yeah, I think that's right. The origin gets fixed on launch, and then things are relative to that origin, regardless of how you move around in the room.
Right.
Right.
And my only question is that what we're trying to do?
Well, that's what we've got to work with.
I
mean,
think in
it's-
this case, yeah, because if we're projecting, so to speak, air quotes around projecting an image or a video, it'd ideally be, I think in this case, when you launch the scene, you want to see that up against the wall or something, or
Right.
All right, so let's go ahead and let's do that then. I'm going to create a, okay, so where were we? We have a function to create the node, and we also have so now we need to do is, oh, this is 3 weeks ago. So I'm going to go back to the view controller from today. So we create a node. We need to add these delegates, the renderers, and I'm going to go ahead and grab the first one, which is the most important one. Which actually, let's grab them all and I'll go through them all, this, one by one, because they're pretty much the same thing. Let me go ahead and I'm going to drop these right at the very bottom. And I'll go through what they're doing. Okay, so the first one does, and I may have to replace the batteries. My touchpad is acting all funky. The renderer is the one that this delegate fires, and I have a comment in there that explains that anytime it detects a new surface, this renderer gets called, and we're going to do a print and service, so you'll be able to see it in the console when it detects a new surface. And what we do then is we check. I'm going to go check if it's playing. You notice this line of code right here. I'll highlight it. If it's playing, we don't want to create a new node, because now we're going to end up with multiple screens as you move your device around. And if it's not playing, go ahead and create the node using the plane anchor that was detected by Xcode or iOS, and we add that as a child to the parent node. So add child node like that. And the other renderers did update and did remove. These are going to be called as you move around. And so as SceneKit, ARKit, finds that, oh, you know what, I saw only part of the surface, so now it's different. It's going to give us new anchors for the plane, and it gives us the opportunity to update it. And again, I do the same thing. Check, are we updating? Are we playing a video? If we're playing a video, we don't want to mess with it. We're not changing it. We're going to leave it as it is. And that, that's that. You can always give the user an opportunity to make a bigger screen or whatever. Say, hey, do you I found your wall, whatever plane you detected is bigger. Do you want to, make the video bigger? And then this one is remove a node. This one gets invoked if it found it made a mistake, which happens quite often. It thought something was part of a plane. And sometimes I don't know what, things throw it off, and it thinks, oh, this was part of your table, your desk, your floor, whatever, and it realizes that it made a mistake. It's going to remove those anchors, and then tell you, okay, this is the new anchor, and in this case, that's your AR anchor right there. Again, we don't want to mess with it if it's actually running. Any questions about these delegates? Let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and run it as is. I don't want to add, let me see what we have here. We're not going to do anything. I just want to show you the console as I move my device around, and these delegates are called. Let me see what happens here. Do I even have the function?
Let's see, we're not handling the button events yet, right?
No, not at all. No, we're not doing anything like, yeah, so we don't have any code in there yet. We're not going to start or stop any videos. I think all that's going to happen right now is it's going to add an image of the ocean and return the node. So we create the node and we add it. So we should just get an image. All right. So, all right, I'm gonna see if I can detect a plane right here. Oh, okay. And it detected my lamp right here and it decided it was a cool plane to, so that it's alternating between one side and the other side. You notice that? And it's probably a blank because we're not specifying that it's a JPEG image. Let me see here. Or it may even be that I didn't even bring the assets into this one. So let's go ahead and pull the images in. I'm glad it didn't crash. So let's go ahead and bring the images in. Oops, let's do that. So we have desktop. All right, so we have the ocean. Okay. And let's bring in the team walking MP4. We'll use that one as well. And I don't know why it does that. It seems to be alternating. And by the way, if you ever have that trouble, if you forget, it's good to know where to go fix that. I believe you go into, let's see right here. What do we have? Yeah, right here, target membership. This would be unchecked. So just go and look at that image or the video. I'm gonna make sure the ocean was set up as well. So they're both part of the membership. So they're both in there. Where was I? Here, close this. JPEG. See that. All right. Cool. So take a look at the console. Do you see what's going on? It's saying, so the first thing that happened was surface update is happening a lot, right? And then as it detects a new surface, when I moved it this way, it detected a new surface. So it's detecting my wall right here and it's trying to figure out how big it is. And oh my gosh, it's huge, right? And then it seems to prefer this surface. It says this is easier to handle. If I go here, it's probably going to detect that one. So you can see the console statements, boom, boom, boom. This surface updated is being triggered a lot. It's firing, hundreds of times a second maybe. And okay, so there's our image being overlaid on my little lamp right here. It's not very accurate. It's kind of bigger than the lamp itself. You notice that? A little bit bigger. Let me see if I can do it on a different surface right here. Oh yeah, look at that. There we go. My wall. All right. So it works. What we did, we got our node created, and these are super important, right? We're checking, make sure it's not running, and then we remove the node when we update. This is the part I kind of skipped last time. Check this out right here. It's because it's constantly adding a child node every time. We want to remove it before we add a child node. We don't want to have multiple child nodes, right? So this has to happen before, when in your update process, we just enumerate all the child nodes, and then we remove from the parent node all the child nodes, and then we add the new one. So that's what's going on there. And I think now we just need to go and add the video, right? All right, let's go ahead. Any questions before I throw the video in there? Okay. All right, so that code is already there. We already have the create node. And so all we do now is when you hit the start button, we're gonna add this code in here on touching the start button. And oops. Okay. So all we're doing is we're going to tell it what the URL is. In this case, it's in the main bundle path. Team walking, it's an MP4, and we assign that to the player, and then we go ahead and remember this function right here, video node geometry first material, exactly like this one, except now we're going to replace the UI image with the video. And that should play. And then if you hit the pause button, I'll grab that. Oh, all it is in this case, I think, is, I'll have to copy that. It's player dot pause. So that's if you hit the pause button. And all right, let's give that a try.
When you have a moment, can I see where you declared video node?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. In fact, let's take a look at that. So, okay, so we're doing the overlay of an image. Let me find a good surface right here. It's kind of choppy. There we go. Okay, here's a good spot. It's pretty stable. And I don't know why it's detecting part of the wall. It really does a lot better when you're more mobile and able to move around quite a bit, because then, you know, you find a surface, a plane, whatever, and it just doesn't keep doing this. Let me just move my phone around and that'll make things a lot better, because then what it does is it's going to learn about the surfaces better and it won't be updating as often. So now if I hit play, there it is. So you notice it looks great, right? And it's not updating anymore, even though if you look at the code here, let me hit stop, pause it. It was getting, we were seeing the comments and I've put in there if it's actually updating. Yeah, so not updating nodes. So that's in the console statement right there. So, okay, let's go take a look at where I declare, you're talking about the player?
The video node, is that just of type player? I was just trying to see the type. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
So so we declared right here as a C node, but it declared as a plane.
All right, cool.
Yeah, yep, right there. Yep, good question. I want to try different things too. I want to see what happens if you do a sphere or a whatever. It'd be kind of cool to play it on a cylinder or something.
Yeah.
Okay. I noticed something different. Something happened though. I don't know if you guys noticed, just before I hit stop, while the video was playing, it seemed to have updated, which was not at all allowed. So something happened. I'm not sure how that happened, but I'm going to go ahead and, okay, so here we go. This is better. It's covering the painting. I'm going to hit play. That's working really nicely now. And you'll see my statements here. So it says surface updated. It's only because I have it. That surface updated print statement happens regardless. I need to remove that, right? And put it down here, because we only want that to happen, right? If it's in the else statement. Okay, so that should happen. But here's something weird. It just updated and stopped playing the video. Somehow, let's fix this real quick. Let's fix these conditions. I'm gonna take this out of here, and we're gonna move this right here. Okay. So that way we won't have any, okay, here we go. And we'll take this one here. Do the same thing here. Okay, let's try that again. That should make our all right, here it is. It's much bigger this time. Start playing. Okay, so the comments make more sense now, the console statements. We're not updating it out, but that's what's interesting. What kind of puzzles me is I did move around like this and come back and see what happened?
Yeah, it's switching off the live video and it defaults back to that image.
Oh, you know what I think happened? It's a very short video. I bet it stopped playing.
Is there a way to loop it?
Yeah, I'm sure there is. Yeah, I don't know how, but we'll figure it out. Yeah, so that's what happened is it was playing, because if I hit play now and while the video is playing, I can come back to it and it's still there, yeah. Okay, that was it then. It was because the video had finished playing, so it's not a bug. Yeah, and then it stops. As soon as the video stops, it starts updating again. Cool. Well, all right, then I don't know that we did, yeah, we made some changes. So what I'll do is I'll post, actually we didn't really do anything, no, because it didn't work. So maybe I'll just post a little snippet up here with the code that we were playing with to get the video loop to work.
Sure.
If somebody wants to try it, I'll just post that in the comments, and then we will we'll see you guys in first week of October, first Friday in October.
Oh my goodness, October already. Well, thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks, Jamie. Nice.
Very entertaining.
Yeah.
Thanks for allowing me to join you guys. I had a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, Brandy, welcome anytime.